everybody. Illman and Mike Beer taking a look at the DRF race of the day for Thursday, May the 9th. Race number 7 at Belmont at the Big A. We're going 1.1 miles. It's a high-level allowance with an $80,000 claiming option. Let's take a look at this field. There's some solid runners in here going 1.1 miles. I wonder if Suge McGahee's found the spot, though, Mike, for the 4 signators dropping out of the Grade 3 Hooper, a race where he kind of caught a speed-friendly track and a tough outside post. Against this sort of company at this distance, especially, he's a good fit.
I agree with that. I think they sort of regrouped after the Hooper line. He didn't run well in that race. He was wide. It was a poor performance any way you slice it. But prior to that, he was in really good form and stretching him back into an allowance race. No issue for this horse.
We'll throw up our time form US pace projector. I was somewhat surprised to see a blue bar that says it favors front runners. I do agree that the 3 Tabagash could be able to get to the lead, but why can't the 1 Ouster be a heck of a lot closer than he is on the pace projector? Berets, the number 2, has also shown a little bit of speed. Even the 6 Curlin's Wisdom's getting blinkers.
Yeah, they're trying blinkers with the 6. Just maybe to get more speed down, but maybe it's because his recent form is terrible. So they're trying to sort of switch things up here and see if he can get back to one of his good races. This pace projector, I don't know if it's going to play out this way, but if it does, this is a very good situation for the 3. He might have a little hang in him, that horse. So just come out of there running, go to the front, and make horses catch him.
Mark Henning's done a nice job with the number 1 Ouster, who scored off of a lengthy layoff in a second-level allowance last time out. Let's watch that race. Going 7/8 of a mile. It's not like the early pace was quick. They kind of sped it up that second quarter. Ouster's on the outside. He's going to grind away and get it done. Not bad at all for his first race off of a lengthy layoff. And 1.1 miles hasn't been a problem for him in the past.
Yeah, he's handled longer distances, so I feel like you're okay with him stretching weight. I really like this performance, first of all. Off the long layoff, sprinting, he got a good trip in there, but I just thought he came back and he looked strong winning this race, and now he can maybe move forward. He's got plenty of faster races to get to. Ultimately, I kind of feel like he's probably best at a 1-turn mile, but he'll get this far. He's got a great post.
The rock-solid New York-bred Berets is up next. He's going to be making his first start of the year after running in the Alex M. Robb over a muddy track at 1 mile. He ran third that day. He showed some speed, Berets. We take a look at some of his performances, Mike, and he's run well at 1.1 miles at the past. I'm just not sure it's his preferred distance.
Yeah, I have the same concerns. He has run okay going 9 furlongs in the past, but I feel like he might be a little better going shorter. He's won twice around 2 turns. They're both at Finger Lakes and stakes races. I don't know. He didn't run that well in this race, but it's the end of a pretty long campaign. He got a little time off after that, and now he comes back. I think they're asking a lot of him because not only might he be better going a little shorter, he catches a pretty tough field here.
Tabagash is up next, and you mentioned he might have a little bit of hang in him. It's hard to figure it out from his last race. Let's watch it right now, where he went after the leader, the favorite Olympic Dreams, at about the 5/16 pole, and they engaged in a duel all the way to the wire, and Tabagash has his chance. I'm just not sure if he hung or if maybe Olympic Dreams is just a little bit better than he is. The 5th place horse came back to earn a placing in a stake with a 92 buyer.
Yeah, listen, he ran pretty well in here.
Right.
At Olympic Dreams, he's a pretty nice horse, Olympic Dreams. And he just can't get by him here. He had his chance. He wasn't good enough. He settled for second, 3 starts back. He got there. That was a 1-turn mile in the mud. He got there that day, and he missed a pretty brutal bob. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I feel like he's still got something to prove. It's not like he lands in some kind of easy spot here, but his overall form is solid.
Signator ran really well 3 starts back when he won his second-level allowance at Aqueduct, going 1.1 miles. He just made a smooth outside bid into contention and kept on going, and he looked like a stakes horse. And he was favored in the Queens County 2 starts back, and he ran okay in that race against Krupe, who came back to run well in the Pegasus World Cup. He just didn't fire last time out in the Hooper. I wouldn't be surprised if, Gulfstream's not the kind of track that's going to fit him. I think he's the kind of track, a horse that wants a little more give in the ground, so to speak.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't think you want to be too hard on him for the Hooper. He was pretty disappointing though in that race. It felt like it wasn't. I mean, I personally felt like it was a pretty good spot for him. And for whatever reason, it just didn't fire. But he's got good form over this track. He can get this distance. It feels like he was getting better at the end of last year, really starting to figure things out, really finishing his races off at the end. I thought his Queens County was a good performance. I feel like Shug's got this horse back in a really good spot here. He's going to take the blinkers off.
The 5 Unbridled Bomber's last victory came over course and distance. He was third in the Suburban last summer at Belmont. Made his return off the layoff last time out at Parks in an allowance race, and he just caught a slow-paced race won in gate-to-wire fashion. The fifth horse earned a stakes placing in his subsequent start at Laurel with a 90 buyer. I'm not going to hold that last race against him. I just didn't love the way he finished up 2023.
Yeah, I agree with you. And he didn't run that well off the layoff last time either. I wanted to see him put in some kind of run in that race. He just didn't. Unbridled Bomber isn't the most reliable horse in the world, but his good race is really good. And he'll get this far. If he has his mind on running in this race, Irad takes over. I think that's also worth noting. If he has his mind on running and gets the right trip, he can beat this field. It'll be a fair price.
Michael Maker keeps the faith with Curlin's Wisdom. He comes out of that Tabagash race where he was chasing on the outside and he was basically eased under the wire. It was his first start of the year, but you don't see any panicky drop in class. They're putting the blinkers on. Maybe that'll get this horse to focus a little bit better. He has a few back races from a buyer speed figure standpoint that would make him interesting.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he got into really good form sort of end of 2022 into 2023 for Linda Rice. He just ran one good race after another, and several of them were at this distance on this track. So you know that he can get this far and run a race that will make him competitive. He's just been in horrific form recently. We'll see if Maker can get him turned around.
Give Cuchar, the number 7, some pace in front of him, and he can grind down horses as he did 2 starts back when taking a second level allowance over course and distance. He ran 3rd in the Excelsior last time out. Messier finished 1st, was disqualified that day, came back to win the Westchester last week with a 96 buyer. That race 2 starts back was kind of a sign to me that maybe Cuchar is starting to slowly figure it out. He always showed a little bit of potential.
Yeah, true enough. I don't disagree with any of that stuff. He's another horse here. He's got races that make him a contender. This is his most recent start, the Excelsior. He's just not really doing anything in here, Dan, but he will prevail for 3rd after not threatening the 1-2 finish. He also got a really good trip in this race. But it was a speed favoring track, and he just can't really make up any ground. His good race gives him a chance.
He didn't have Lasix in the race we're showing right now. Of course, he'll get Lasix again, dropping out of the stakes ranks, and maybe that'll spark a little bit of a wake-up. Curbstone comes out of the Excelsior. He finished 6th that day without Lasix, but 2 starts back, he scored with it in a second-level allowance, going a 1-turn mile. That was a race where, Mike, he kind of got the right setup.
It was. Listen, this is a horse. First of all, I feel like the 1-turn mile might be a little short for this horse anyway. I thought he ran really well first time back off of that long layup just to win that race. They tried the Excelsior last time. He got caught very wide on the first turn of that race. Just throw that race out. I don't feel like he had any real chance in there. Again, that was a big speed favoring track too. His prior form going 9 furlongs on this track, it's excellent. I know that he started out into cheaper races and they just sort of moved him up in class gradually. His form was awful good early last year. I think he's a pretty interesting horse in here at a price.
No, his races at 1 1/8 at Aqueduct are certainly good. And again, he might be racing himself back into shape. Good effort first off the bench. Last time out in the stake, tough trip. Now 3rd try of the cycle. Before we take a look at our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time for our Thursday race of the day. Signator, the 4, might have the class. And again, I think there's a stakes horse in there somewhere.
I agree. I like this spot for him to maybe try to bounce back here. Lasix back on for Shug in the right kind of a field. It's him, and I want to use a little of that 8 Curbstone.
I'm curious to see if Tabagash can get loose on the lead. Timeform US believes he can get to the front. I wonder if there'll be a little bit more pressure. He's in good form. I'm not willing to call him a hanger just yet. But that last race, boy, he had every chance to win. 3-7-2-4 for me, 4-8-1-3 for Mike in the Thursday race of the day. Belmont at the Big A. Good luck.